I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Ethnotek Raja 30-liter backpack, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. Where this bag really shines in terms of its design is with its unique style. So the outside material here is like a vegan water resistant material, but specifically what we're going to be focusing on is this customizable front panel, which is what they call the threads. So you can actually get different versions of this pattern. They sell them online when you actually buy the bag, but then you can buy them additionally, which means you can actually swap out the style of the bag. So what this is a handmade textile from a different country. You can see the country that it came from over here. They have the little flag, which is cool, right next to the Ethnotek logo. And this one is from Ghana. So these are handmade. And you can look online to see like who made it, which is pretty cool. And all of them are different and unique. So that's awesome. It gives you a little bit of, I guess, uniqueness when it comes to your bag. And so this here, the way that you actually remove it is if you were to go into this main compartment here, you can see that this Velcros off, and this Velcros off from top to bottom. So I'm actually just going to leave this on for the time being, just so we can talk about that a little bit later. But let's say, hypothetically, you just Velcro all this thing off. It took a little bit for me to actually get it secured on there, but once I did, it was kind of like a set it and forget it type thing. And then there's this little bottom panel that allows you to sort of tuck the bottom in there so that it stays nice and secure. It doesn't like catch on anything and just rip off or something like that. But it did feel very secure. You can see there's like a little bit of a thread pulling. I mean, you really actually can't even see it. There's a little bit of a thread pulling right there. I'm going to lift it up a little bit so you can sort of see, but in general it's held up super well. And then you have these buckles on the front to keep this locked in place. It like secures this nicely to the bag itself, but then also if you wanted to use these to attach additional gear, you could. Like you can loosen this up, put like a yoga mat or something like that on this front panel, which is pretty cool as well. So in general, what makes this bag so unique is that additional style in the front here. You can see the different places where they made them, get like a feel for the actual textiles. They have a ton of information on their website if that's something that interests you. But the rest of the bag is pretty, I'm not gonna say basic because there are a few different cool features with it, but we're gonna run through that in a second here. So now onto the harness system. We have two very cushy shoulder straps. You can see there's a decent amount of padding there. And then we have this back panel padding as well with a fairly large air channel in the center. I would say that's like a good 1.5 to maybe even like 2 inches of height there. And what's really nice is that it gives you a lot of airflow. However, for some reason, we tried this on kind of as a team, and we found that you can actually really feel these air channels. Like down at the bottom here, you're just sort of aware of this extra gap. Not quite sure what that is. Maybe it doesn't like taper down fully or something like that. It's not uncomfortable, but just something to be aware of that you actually can feel it a bit. Otherwise, the cushion itself is actually pretty comfortable. These up at the top, they attach down in the center, so you don't have a ton of like freedom with movement. We did find that those of us on the team with shorter torsos found this to be more comfortable to carry than those of us with longer torsos. So that's something to keep in mind as well. We just found the fit to be a little bit more in tune with our back. And then with this, we have a sternum strap for a little additional support as well. And then if you want, they do sell a hip belt that you can add on as an accessory. I didn't really find myself needing it for this, but it does pass through down at the bottom here if you want it. So that is a nice feature. Then we have D-rings here for attaching gear and a nice cushy carry handle up at the top. Here is the bag when it's actually on my back. You can see that it is just pretty basic fit, nothing too crazy. We do have strap keepers on both the shoulder straps and the sternum strap to keep that in line. But in general, like I mentioned, it is a pretty comfortable fit. You can see that on my shoulders, it does come in pretty close to my neck, and I think that that's where that comfort impacts as well, because for me and those with shorter torsos, it doesn't really feel like it's making that much of an impact, but if you do have broader shoulders or a longer torso, it might not be as comfortable, so that's something to keep in mind. But if you do want to make some additional adjustments, nice and easy, everything moves really nice and smooth. They are unbranded hardware, but we have YKK zips, zips. So across the board, pretty durable materials. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the external compartment. So starting off on this side here, we have a little like half moon zippered pocket, and this opens up. It reveals a nice little pattern on the inside, and then it has some additional storage. So here's where I kept like a wallet, headphones, things I wanted quick access to, and then keys as well. And then you have a little bit of, extra space to work with here if you wanted to just stick something there. This is a nice like fuzzy kind of felty material. And even this is like the same textile material as the front of the bag, or feels similar, at least. It's like nice and threaded. So it does feel just like nice and soft in here. And then I kept my phone in this little front pocket here, or I would stick my wallet in here. Basically anything that I wanted really, really, really quick access to. I felt this was pretty secure. Like if I put my wallet in here, I didn't feel like it was going to slip out, but if I was going to be throwing my bag around a ton, I'd just stick it in here. So kind of 50-50 depending on like what your preference is, but that is a nice pocket to have just for quick access. Next, on the other side, we have a water bottle pocket. You can see it's fairly roomy. I have my Awala right here, which fits in nice and easy. I believe this is the 17 ounce. And then we have a Hydro Flask as well, which is a little bit looser, but I felt like this, you have a decent amount of stretch to it, but the water bottle pocket is fairly secure. I mean, if I move this around, it's going to shift a bit, but it's nothing too crazy. You can even loop it through if you wanted to, like this compression strap here, if that's something that interests you. So a little bit of added security for you. And then this actually opens up as well, and this gives you access to the main compartment. So we'll get into the main compartment in a second, but I really like having that side access because roll tops can be a little bit tedious to get into just because you have to unroll it every single time you want to get in. So I loved having this because if I knew I wanted something, then I would make sure that, like if I was going to need it in the middle of my trip, I would make sure it'd be over here. Like if you're going through airport security, let's say, and you want to arrange your bag so your toiletries are right here, you can just unzip really quick, take them out, and you're good to go. So that's a really cool feature. Or, if you forget something and you just need to shove like one last thing in the bag, instead of opening it up from the top, you can open up this side and then just kind of like stick it in there. So really dig that is an option as well. We also have on the front here, on the actual threads thing, we have a zippered pocket as well. So that goes down to about here. So you have a decent amount of space. It is pretty roomy. So if you wanted to stick like, I don't know, your wallet or phone or something in here, you totally can. This is a great spot though for like additional layers. Like if you have like a hat and gloves, something you don't need super often, but can be a little bit bulkier and you do need it when you need it, like when the weather drops and things like that. That's a really good spot for that. And then we also have this back laptop compartment. So this fits a 13 to 15 inch device, and this actually zips from the side and then does like kind of a half moon zip, also similar, to give you access to your laptops. You can see you got a little extra space. I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro in here. But what I liked about this specifically is a lot of the times when you have a laptop compartment on the back panel, the zipper is fully on the inside. So anytime you want to access that pocket, you have to like pull these back and then zip from like here all the way around. What I liked about this is that when I had the bag on its side and I needed to get to my laptop, this zipper was always, I just left it down at the bottom. You could put it at the top if you want extra security. Didn't really feel like I needed it though. You can just take one of these zippers, unzip it enough, and then get your laptop out. So my 13-inch, you can see, fits pretty snug in there. If you had the 15 and you needed a little extra space, you can unzip it more, but I just liked having that quicker and easier access with the zippers on the outside versus the inside. Now into the main compartment. So we have the big chunky buckle up at the top here with a lot of adjustment space. So you can really, like if you wanted to unroll this more to fit a lot more in here, you totally could. So that is a pretty great feature. If you do have all this extra strap and you don't really know what to do with it, you can just sort of slip it underneath this threads here. It goes basically down to that bottom there. But it's not a huge deal. Otherwise, it does just kind of flap around. So totally a preference thing. But in order to get into here, all you have to do is just give it a quick open and then unroll it and you are good to go. So I do like this here, like the way that this buckle is configured. Some roll top bags are, clipped on the side. And so you roll it down as tight as you can, you clip it, and then it's relying on two side buckles to hold this material down. What I like about this roll top being in the center is that it holds it down from the center. So I didn't have any issues with this material unrolling as I was carrying the bag, which is an issue that I've had with other roll top bags. So in terms of design, I definitely prefer this center buckle. It's also easier because you're just undoing one buckle versus two on the side. So really like this design. I kind of like hit or miss with roll top bags, but in terms of them, I like this one here. Part of that, I think, as well, is that I can get in from this side pocket. So overall access is pretty convenient for this. We also have two buckles on the top here. They just clip together, so that keeps your stuff from kind of flying all over the place. And then these edges themselves have a little bit of structure to them. So if you were to open this up, they don't flop all over the place. They're not like falling in and things like that. So in this inside here, you can see I've got two packing cubes and then I have one on the bottom. I'm actually just gonna pull them out this way so that we can give you a quick look at the inside when it is completely empty. So there it is, empty main compartment. This is a 30 liter. It feels very much like a 30 liter bag in terms of like a roll top. I think a 30 liter travel backpack, specifically designed to be a travel backpack, is a little bit easier to load. With this being a roll top, anything that you're gonna want quick access to wouldn't necessarily put it at the bottom unless you can get to it from this side here. But this is a really great option if you want something, and they designed it to be sort of like an EDC to a weekend carry if you want something that can do double duty. So this is really great for that. I did carry it every day and it didn't feel so huge, but then when I did need it for an overnight or a couple of days, I was able to add in a couple of packing cubes and all of my stuff, and I still felt like I had a good amount of space for I think I did 2 nights with this, 2 nights worth of clothing, and it felt like pretty capped out, but I had some like thicker jeans in there. So depends on what you pack for sure. And then we also have on the inside here, we have, you can see a little slip pocket here, which goes all the way down to the bottom of the bag. There is no false bottom, so I wouldn't necessarily use that for a device, but it definitely can fit one. And then there is, I'm trying to see if I can get you some visibility here. Yeah, there you go. There is a zippered pocket here as well. So if you wanted to do like tech gear, like let's say you want to put your phone charger or your laptop charger in here in that zippered pocket, that's a really great spot for it if you don't have like a tech pouch or something like that. And overall, I think that the inside here is pretty minimal organization, but organization that is familiar if you have a more basic interior bag. So I never really felt like I was in need of additional storage. I would say between the 3, 2 pockets that you have on the outside here, for myself personally, I felt like I was pretty much covered with quick grab gear, and then anything else that I didn't need super often just went in that main compartment, and I just used cubes to make sure that it stayed organized. So there you have it, the Ethnotek Raja 30 liter backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.